There we are. Oh, hello, everybody. Doug Rucker here with Doug Rucker School, and I've got Jeff Blackman, my brother Dean, and Vaughn Cross with us tonight. We're talking about the difference makers. We did one last night with Ricardo and got a little bit of his take on it. And tonight, we're going to be talking about a little special element that we do at the difference makers. That I've never seen done before, but something that's just kind of on mine and Jeff's and Vaughn's heart to reach out to husband and wives that have this type of business, a pressure washing business, pest control business. It could be landscaping, whatever type of small business. But we just want to kind of reach out to the husbands and wives. First off, the wives can attend free when they come with their husband to the Difference Makers Conference. And that is June 8th and 9th. And that's going to be right here in Kingwood, Texas. And so we just kind of want to talk a little bit about that tonight, why we do it, what we're trying to accomplish, how we're trying to help. And so I'm going to turn it over to my bro, Dean, and he's going to get us going and take it over, bro.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Doug. I know all of these great speakers. I know their wives. I was there at the last conference and so enjoyed just the contribution that their wives made. And so it's important, it's teamwork. I really believe teamwork makes the dream work. And whenever you're a small business owner, when you're an entrepreneur, that generally means, if you're married, you're working together in the business one way or the other. Even if it's just sometimes it's, direct interaction as a part of the business. Sometimes it's kind of lighter and more just on the relational side and less communication. But either way, we want to help. We want to strengthen that marriage relationship, that bond, and help you grow your business as well. So these guys have wives that have been very supportive and have made a huge difference in their lives, in their families. Some of them have ministries. All of them are involved in ministry. And so there's that part of it. But then there's also the way that their wives make a difference in their businesses, the businesses that they run. So why don't we get into that? Jeff, let's start with you. I want you to tell us just a little bit about your wife, how she is involved with you in your business, and just some of the things we can look forward to from her at the Difference Makers Conference.
Well, first of all, hello, guys. Trust that y'all are having a great day. I had a great day. So, well, Sharon plays a big part in our business. Sharon's one of the straightforward person, and like any other women, wives. Wives, they're more. She's more into the finance part, and she's real disciplined. She's more disciplined than me in the finance area. So because I go out there and spend $1,000 to $5,000 on a part or whatever, and she not having it. She wants to know. She's hands on. She wants to know why do we need this, or what we're going to use this for, or what type of return we're gonna make off of this. Those things of that nature. But I love her for that because it keeps me in line from just going out and purchasing something and just to say that I can do it. And also that being said, that she's one of the people that that's more like because you went and bought this part and you took this finances out of one certain area of account, and I'll say, well, shoot, we bought this debt free, or I ain't got to work as hard right now to get that. No, not Sharon. Sharon believe in that it's debt free when we put that money back in that account where we took it from at that time. But to answer the question, that she's more involved in the finances or the bookkeeping and different things like that, making sure that that's in that area that we have that solid foundation and structure in that area right there.
Awesome. So it sounds like she helps with accountability. She's got some great advice, and it sounds like she helps with organization.
Right, exactly.
Solid. All right, cool. Well, Vaughn, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your wife, the partnership, how y'all work together. I know everybody's different in terms of how they work together. So tell us about your angle on it.
Well, it's kind of similar to Jeff's, and with that being said, here about maybe a year ago, I was doing it all. I was handling the finances. I was doing the cold calling.
Go ahead. That's the brownies going off in the oven.
Thought it was me. But I was doing everything until I told Quinta I thought she could handle all the finances. So similar to Jeff, she handles a lot of the accounting aspect of it, accountability many times as it relates to what we need to have in certain accounts in order to maintain our level of living and household bills. And that's been really crucial because it gives me an opportunity to just go cold call. And it gives me an opportunity to work or plan jobs. And I think the partnership is really, really, our relationship partnership really grown because we've kind of got closer together as it relates to that.
Awesome. I know for me, my wife has a separate job from what I do. And so there isn't, in terms of a small business, that kind of interaction. But I have been in the ministry. And of course, a wife, plays a critical role in praying and being a part there as well, and the rest of the family. But Doug, I know Kathy plays a big part in your marriage and your relationship, and especially in your business, because she's there at the store pretty much, I think, every day. Is that right?
Yeah, she is, but it's still, I do pretty much everything. I pretty much do it all. Oh, here she comes.
Move over. Move over.
So.
Well, there she is. Look, everybody, would you welcome the one and only Kathy Rucker?
We just set him straight sometimes, and he does do everything. For years and years and years, Doug actually did everything by himself, and that's one of the striking things to me about being a pressure washer is it's a very isolated job, particularly if you don't have a crew, or if you're the one who makes every call, returns every call, emails the estimates, accepts the estimates, lets the customer know you're on the way. All of those pieces of the puzzle typically are usually done by one person. And if you don't have an office staff, or you don't have a work crew, or you have crews out that just go do the work, but you're the communicator, you're the one who does all the communicating. And it can be pretty isolating to do that. And you're the one, when you come home, returns all the phone calls that came during the day while you were at work. And so it can be very isolating. So for us, we have good conversations about things. We bounce ideas off of each other. And, they're not all about, hey, I think I need to buy this. And me have to say, I don't think you need to spend any money right now. There are times in the business when those are your conversations, but those are not always your conversations. It could be, what do you think about this marketing thing? Well, this customer thought this, but I didn't tell them this. We fleshed out a lot of processes and procedures over the years based on what didn't work and how could we be preventative about the next thing. So we bat ideas around and talk things through a lot. A lot of it's over the dinner table. But about 2 years ago, I started working with Doug in the store. And that was really, really eye-opening to see all that he actually did do by himself. And so I've been able to come alongside of him and take some of those things from him. My very consistent line I use, though, is when a customer may call, or I'll have to say, I married the pressure washer. I won't do the pressure washing. He's going to have to call you back and talk about that nozzle, or talk about this issue, or tell you why your downstream injector's not working, or why you have that leak with your gun, or whatever. I've learned some things, but I'm not the troubleshooter. And kind of don't really plan to ever be the troubleshooter. But that's been fun to get to kind of get to see up close and personal all that he's done and what he's accomplished. But for us, I've been able to move into a much different support role just because we work together now. But that's only been 2 of the 30 plus years that you've done this. So.
Well, one thing I learned about you, Kathy, when I was up there last, is that when Emma Grace is in town, you are not available.
I'm not, and I'm not ever going to be. She is home this summer. She is home this summer, and she's been home 7 days, and we're all still talking to each other, and it's just amazing. We love it.
Yeah.
She hadn't been home in 3 summers, and so there was a little bit of level of concern that things might not go well, but no, we're doing fine.
Good.
And you can look at them and say, "Hey, hi, how are y'all?"
What up, Grace?
Emma Grace, right here.
There she is. All right, Emma Grace. Hey.
So what was your question to me again? So, it's early, early in our business. We first bought a business, I think when we were engaged, a pressure washing business in Florida. But, there was a lot of years of me, and some of you guys, I think most of you guys know my story, hiding money and things of that nature and just not living, for God. And so as that changed and my life changed, we began having more conversations about the money in the business, even though she wasn't part of the business. But it became a thing where I learned that, and I think Vaughn and I have talked about this before, that women just kind of have this innate ability or spirituality or
we do.
able to forecast and see things that we may not see when we're getting ready to buy that surface cleaner. And she says, is there a way you can get by without that for, let's say, 3 months or 6 months?
Women's intuition.
Intuition, that's the word I was looking for. And so lo and behold, you do hold off, and within 3 weeks or a month, something had come up and you look back and say, kind of glad I listened to her on that. So, I was always the kind of guy when a customer told me, the husband said, let me talk it over with my wife. I respected that, especially when it was something for $1,000 or more, a little $300 house wash. That didn't really impress me too much. But, when you got to spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on a house wash and roof cleaning and all that kind of stuff, I said, absolutely. I understand that. I don't blame you. But Vaughn, you and I have talked about that innate thing that women have about finances, and you had some great words about that as well. I think you shared some of it, but that's kind of what we're looking to do to help husbands and wives that are in this business together, especially on the financial end.
Right.
Vaughn, pick up on that.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of times, even with me, with my A personality type, a lot of men, I won't say for all, but you have this mindset of, I can do it. This is my business, I'm running the show, I can handle it, I can handle it. And really, you don't know the helpmate that you really have that has a total different insight, total different, like Dean said, a women's tuition that we need for support in the business. Because and I'm not going to get, try to be preachy, but this is your helpmate, right?
Amen. Yes.
Your decision to pick this helpmate, your wife is the product of your decision, so we got to get whatever God blesses us with. Let's get that intuition or get that woman's insight to help us in the business. And that's one of the things that I did not consider. I mean, I've been married with Quinta. We're going on our 11th year in marriage. So I didn't consider that. I went through 8 years of bumping my head before I realized I had a partner here that could help. And what it's done, it allowed us to communicate better. It allowed us to emotionally be better together, physically be better together. And it just really just bridged the gap and really brought the family closer by doing it.
Now, is Quinta right around the corner over there somewhere? Ready?
No, Quinta, I'm in the office, so Quinta's across the path.
All right.
Don't be getting Vaughn in trouble, Dean. Do not be getting Vaughn in trouble. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would just say too, at the Difference Makers Conference the previous one we had, Sharon and I had a chance to visit with a girl whose husband hadn't even had his first job yet. And he was very new to the business. So if wives come, we have an opportunity to talk to them about where they are. They may be in a real difficult spot and not even want to be there and not want their husband to do this business, or we've been in difficult, hard places with our spouses before. And we can talk about that in an encouraging way. Right. Or they also may be saying, man, I really, really want to help. What do I do? I don't want to take over, but what do I do? And we can talk a little bit about that. So we're open to discussing with them anything that they need to talk about. So it could be just the mechanics of the business, administrative task of the business, all the way to supporting their husband and how do they do that. So we'd love to see wives come. It's a neat thing to get to do things with your spouse. And for Doug and I have been married 25 years, and all of those 23 of those years, I had a total other full-time job and just physically did not have the time to spend with him to do that. And so now that we're doing some things together, it's been really, what'd you say?
It was awesome.
I was like, don't be sassy in front of the whole world here on YouTube. But that was really, I really had my eyes opened about, I just had no idea how significant it would be to work with him. And I would caution every wife who thinks she's going to go on a pressure washing job and get to hold the gun and spray water. She's not. She's going to get to move hoses, and that's about it. So, one pressure washing job, and there was no fun in that. And so I decided I didn't need to be an on the job girl. I could be a behind the scenes girl.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, is Sharon right around the corner or anything there?
No, she's out. She's going out with the grandkids. They're going to eat crawfish.
All right. Well, now I got a question for you, Jeff, and maybe you can weigh in on this. There probably, when you're involved in a business together, you know, as a husband and wife, the way all of y'all are, there probably has to be a balance in terms of when you're at home, you know, when you're punched out, that you're not always talking about the business, you know, even during those times when you're at home. So there's probably a balance there. So can you speak into that a little bit about how y'all handle that in your relationship?
Yeah, exactly. Well, how Sharon and we do that. Basically, Sharon and our time is on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesday. And Vaughn normally knows not to call me on those days. Because those are the days that she's off and we wind down and spend time, because we get the grandbabies on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we try to spend as much time as we can with them. And normally, like I used to tell anybody back in the days, if you want to do anything, any home to me and Sharon, you can find us at Cracker Barrel on I-45 at 10 a.m. on Monday morning, or either that Tuesday. But no, it takes a structure to you have to have that balance to know when it's gonna take to have time for your spouse. And you have to set that aside. It just can't always be about business and business and business. You know, Dean, really be honest with you, Sharon and I had a conversation about this a couple of weeks ago. You know, when we were in the dating scene, Sharon used to like to go every Friday night. You know, we would go eat ice cream and things of that nature. And but that stopped for a minute because I got so caught up into the entrepreneur lifestyle, or trying to make a living and trying to keep up with the Joneses, as they say, or making buck and making the money, doing it, trying to live on this level, but forgetting the most important thing, that was that she used to like to eat ice cream. And that $5 bucket of ice cream or cup of ice cream meant more to her than me going out there trying to make $50,000 or $1,000 or whatever that case, because she wanted that time. And so those are some of the things that we share at the Difference Maker Conference, that, you know, you got to have that balance, and you have to have that structure outside of work area and at the home. You have that responsibility. you're a boss man, but you also she used to tell me you're a boss man, but also you're a grandfather, you're a husband, you're a father. And in this day and time in society, a child needs to see that fatherhood ministry.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, just as a side note, have you had rolled ice cream yet?
Yeah.
Woo! That's the best kind of ice cream.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Vaughn, how about you? How's that balance work in your home, in your relationship?
Well, I would say it's still a process that we work through. I'm what we have. Our family dynamic is kind of different. I still work, a secular job, and I'm a full-time pastor, and then we have a full-time business, right? So that dynamic is I prioritize different. So my main focus is the kingdom of God. That's number one. And what I mean by that in my life is that's God's first, then my family, then my community, then work. I kind of balance it that way. So I believe I was talking to Doug, or Doug was talking to me earlier, that, hey, man, when you going to let that other plant go? And I think I said, well, God is going to give me, some steps. Once he give me a few nuggets, we will. But basically, our balance is what's important now. If my family has an issue that comes up, man, we tackle the family right out the gate. Kind of like Jeffrey. You're a husband, you're a grandfather, and then you're a businessman. Well, I'm a husband and I'm a dad, and all of those things have to take a second fiddle to, my entire life. Now, being a man of God kind of couples with being a husband, a good husband, and being a good dad. All of that is kind of interwoven together. But that's what we do. And you have to have that balance. You have to have that balance. You could miss a blessing trying to chase a blessing.
Yep.
In other words, you could be there for a recital. Man, I sure need to go get that $500 driveway job. Man, I sure need to get that $500 driveway job. And all you have to do is say, hey, can I schedule you for Thursday instead of Tuesday? Because Tuesday my daughter has a recital. Well, you don't have to let them know that. And listen, if they say, no, I'll find somebody else, well, let them find somebody else. Because God got a $2,000 job for Thursday anyway. And you would have missed the $2,000 job because you've been wrestling with the $500 job. So, but what you've done, you build a trust level in your family, and you build a closer bond. So if I got to turn down a job, I'm fine with turning down a job, just as long as I have that family bond, and that's important.
Awesome. Well, we're excited about having the wives at the next Difference Makers Conference, June 8 and 9 in Texas. We're going to be talking about how to trust each other, how to communicate, how to complement each other with our strengths and weaknesses, and work together as a team. So it's going to be great. Doug, why don't you march us out of here today?
All right. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. It's going to be a great one again. You've heard from Carlos a week or so ago, and last night Ricardo. And so again, this is a business conference. We're not teaching you how to hook up a downstream injector. We're not teaching you how to clean a roof. This is more about building your business. And the reason we call it the Difference Makers Conference is because we're sharing some things that made not only some differences in our businesses, but also differences in our lives. And so that's June 8th and 9th coming up right here in Kingwood, Texas. June 10th, we're going to have an open house at the store from, I think, 9 to 12, if anybody wants to come to that. And then also June 13th or 12th and 13th is my monthly hands-on training. So it's kind of a weekend thing, but the Difference Makers thing is what we really enjoy sharing our experiences and the things that made the differences, like I said, in our lives as well as our businesses. And real quick, before we leave, Jeff Blackman has another striping school coming up July 20th and 21st right here in the Houston, Texas area. That has classroom training, that also has hands-on training. You're going to actually, I went to the last one and I was amazed at, he was letting them paint out in the parking lot on some felt paper, but the guys were actually getting to stripe some lines and get some hands-on training. And you saw a lot of painting that went from really bad to some really good painting after a few lessons and a few tips from Cordero and Jeff. So that's a great thing to add to your business if you want to get into parking lot striping. You clean them parking lots, man, you better be ready to stripe them because that's what they want done next. And you need to learn how to do it, especially the ADA Disability Act stuff that they cover. So I think I said everything that you could have said, Jeff. I was going to try to leave you something to say, but
you did a great job.
Yeah, Vaughn will be there too, speaking and teaching. So again, that's July 20th and 21st. If y'all need information, what's your phone number, Jeff? How can they get a hold of you?
832-729-3111.
There you go. So thank you guys for joining. Vaughn, you're looking great. Losing all that weight, you still sound the same, just as musculus diet, mucusless. Is that what it is? Mucusless. All right. Thank you, Dean, for pitching in with us again. Always great to have you, and we will talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a great and a blessed evening.
All right. Y'all got the best one.
Y'all take care.